Okay, I think we're going to get started here, and we'll do a little bit of a reordering for our webinar here since we've had some technical difficulties with one of our speakers. But I'm going to shove us off and stay tuned here for a little bit of a slide reordering. But I wanted to get us grounded since it's been a while since we've all been together on a webinar and restate the purpose of what we're going to communicate with you today and the format and what you can expect. So the series that we've got here is designed to provide you with an overview of some of the most recent product updates across all of the Ivan's solutions. Our four subject matter experts will review the new features and the functionalities that were added over the last several months, and then we'll leave some time for questions at the end. We've also got a good number of forward-looking plans that we are looking forward to sharing with you as well. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. First, at the bottom of your screen is a Q&A widget that you can use to post a question at any point during the presentation. Clicking on the widget, which looks like two chat bubbles, will allow you to submit your questions. We've reserved some time following the presentation, as I mentioned, to answer these. And an on-demand version of this webinar will be available in a few days on ivans.com. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to our four Ivans product experts who will review the latest product updates and answer any questions that you have. Rohan Edwin is our Benchmarks product manager. He will present some exciting new features in our newest product, Ivans Benchmarks. Diane Madigan will share what we've been developing with Ivans Marketing Insights. Ryan Lapp will bring you up to speed on the happenings in Ivans distribution platform and Ask Kodiak. And Heather Pravish will review the latest Ivans Exchange and Bookroll enhancements. Thanks again to everyone for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to Rohan now to get started.
Scaling. And we can kick things off. Is the screen share on? Sorry, I just wasn't
That's
able.
okay. Yeah, let me make sure. Do you see?
There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Yeah, like Galen said, my name is Rohan Edwin. I am the product manager for Ivans Benchmarks. This is actually a new Ivans Insight solution that we released in January of this year, and it's really based around showing all of you data-driven premium analytics based on the bound policy data that comes in through downloads. If you want to go to the next slide, Gail. Thank you. So yeah, like I mentioned, in January, we had our go-to-market release of benchmarks. Our first version is for homeowners and dwelling fire of benchmarks. And this solution really allows carriers to go in and filter on very specific types of home policies and understand how premiums are changing month to month, as well as where their average premium compares to other carriers that are downloading through Ivans. As part of this go-to-market release, we also had a larger effort on our Ivans platform to update the platform to support account management and user management. And this is really based to empower our users to manage access to the respective people in their organizations. Coming up next in Q2 for us, we're planning on expanding benchmarks to include a personal auto version. So just like with home and dwelling fire, so the second quarter, you'll be able to go in, drill in on personal auto filters and really identify like, hey, are we competitive with how we're pricing our auto policies? With that release, we'll be coming out with a complete personalized version. So anybody that's interested in looking at those bound premium analytics and benchmarking capabilities for personal auto, home, and dwelling fire, you're able to kind of bundle that whole personalized version. And then right after that personalized version that we're coming out at the end of the second quarter around June, we're planning on having another significant update to come out for the home dwelling fire as well as personal auto, adding in additional non-pricing analytics for our benchmarks. So showing distribution on dwelling limits, deductibles, and new filters like searching for home policies in certain hazard zones or distance to coast. So looking at just adding in a whole bunch of new features and filters for our dashboards. Beyond the first half of 2026, some of our other initiatives that we're looking at, that we're working towards is building out some data reports in benchmarks for customers to integrate with. Right now, benchmarks is a platform solution. So you would go into the Ivans platform, click on the different filters and review that data within the Ivans platform. These data reports are going to be the next iteration where if you want to do an API call to grab this data and directly kind of import that into your own internal systems, you would have that capability. Additionally, we are doing a lot of discovery around integrating with Epic and EasyLink's AMS data to support commercial lines benchmarks. So after rounding out our personal lines, we're looking at expanding into those CL lines of business, and part of that's going to be integrating with Epic and EasyLinks. We're also looking at doing some close ratio and demand insights. So with that EasyLinks integration, looking to integrate the EasyLinks rater data to provide like the one-of-a-kind quote to bind analytics. So seeing, which quotes you're winning at, which quotes you're not, and tying those to the bound policies and benchmarks is really our ultimate goal with demand insights. And lastly, we're also planning on coming out with a new Ivans index. So this will be based in the Ivans platform, and we're looking at expanding to additional lines of business that you can see in the Ivans index, specifically home and personal auto. And one thing I'll mention before we kind of jump into the next slide is with all these future initiatives that we're working on for the data reports, the Ivans Index commercial lines, as well as for auto and home, if any of this is interesting to you, please reach out to us. We are always looking for design partners or anybody that has feedback on how we can make this solution more valuable to you. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there for anyone watching. If this looks interesting, please feel free to send me an email or reach out. I'm happy to talk. So yeah, and then on the next slide here, this is what the current Ivans benchmarks looks like. So it's a dashboard. On the right-hand side here, you see all the different filters. You can filter on various risk coverage details, such as a certain dwelling limit range. If you're looking at home policies in a specific state, you can even go more granular at the 3-digit zip code level. You can filter on form types and then various risk details like a range of years in which the home was built, number of families, construction type. And really, this is just the start. Like I mentioned in June, we're planning on coming out with more filters, more reports on this dashboard, but this gives you a starting point to try to compare a very specific type of home policy and what the premiums of that type of home policy are month to month compared to how you are pricing those policies. And then the report directly to the left of that that's highlighted, this is kind of our main trends and benchmarking report that you see. So after you set your filters, you can see a month-to-month comparison of a specific type of home policy, how your average premium is for that home policy month to month compared to every other carrier that is downloading through Ivans. And that way it gives you a quick comparison in terms of, am I competitive right now with how we're pricing these home policies at?
Thanks, Rohan. And Diane, we're going to go back to you.
Okay. Sorry, I know I changed up the flow a bit, so I appreciate y'all accommodating me. I'm Diane Madigan. I am the product manager on one of the product managers on our Ivans Insights team, but I am predominantly responsible for marketing insights. And so marketing insights is our more mature product. We've had it out for a couple of years now. And just want to kind of talk to you about some of the things that we are working on for this year. So Galen, if you want to, thank you. So for the first quarter, we've been really, Marketing Insights has really two components. There's Marketing Insights and then there's Marketing Insights Plus. And then the Marketing Insights product that we just saw a moment there, that was our, that's our UI. That's our user interface where users can go in and log in and perform searches. But then we've also got our Marketing Insights Plus data reports where via API, you can go ahead and generate reports that really suit your needs. So one of the first things that we did at the beginning of this year is we realized last year we really worked hard to add a lot of additional filters and make sure that the same things you can filter on in the dashboard, you can filter on in the data report. So in doing that, we realized that a quota limit or a limit of only 15 reports a month was really restrictive for a lot of our users. So we were able to get that up to 100 queries a month. So if you choose to just do one big report every month, that's fine. But if you'd like to really slice and dice and do filters on things that that really fit your appetite or your use cases, feel free. You can do up to 100 a month. So we were really excited to be able to offer that. Additionally, we added another report to the data reports. It's called a sub-industries report. It's for folks who subscribe to the Marketing Insights Plus commercial lines. And it just allows you to dig deeper into those industry codes, because our report at this time really was only reporting at the 2-digit sector level, and people wanted to really be able to see results at, a 6-digit level or maybe a 4-digit level, depending on, again, your use case and your appetite. So when you do a filter on those NAICS codes, you get this additional sub-industries report. It just shows up automatically and just gives you more granular detail at each NAICS code that you're searching for. And then the last thing that we are looking to hopefully push out next month, we're very excited about this, is giving users the ability to actually launch a data report from within the UI, because some folks have a little hard time understanding how to build out an API query as needed, or oftentimes people have that built out and set up and working, but they may just need an ad hoc report here or there. So now you'll be able to actually launch an API report using filters or not from within the UI. So we're really hoping that this gives you flexibility to kind of, meets you where you are as far as where you need to be able to create those reports from. So then the next things that we're going to be working on is we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the UI part of it. We're going to start updating our dashboard. We've known for a long time it's big. There's a lot of reports in there, too many. So we're going to break it into smaller chunks that are more make more sense. They grouping them together in a way that makes sense. This is going to help with performance. It's also going to allow us to separate your PL and your CL dashboard, so you'll be able to really focus on the things that are most important to you. Additionally, we are exploring bringing in some data from Google Places. We know that when carriers are going out and prospecting, there's a lot of information they need to gather about agencies, that they go out onto the internet and they find websites and they find details. Well, we can do that as well. And using Google Places, we can present it to you within the product. So it's just easier. It's right there for you at your fingertips. You don't have to go out and go searching. So we are going to be bringing that in. Initially, that's going to actually be an additional tab on the MI Plus data reports, but then we're going to put that into the UI as well. And then future integrations, we're going to be integrating with Ask Kodiak. So if you have your appetite in Ask Kodiak, you'll be able to actually use that to be able to use that as a search and say, find me everybody who is an appetite for my bot product, for instance. So that's something we're excited to do. We're going to be updating our Find Agencies UI. Again, just updating it. It's been a number of years. We want to really make it easier to work with. Perhaps adding a dashboard or adding some higher level reports. And then we've been working on this for quite some time, being able to identify agencies better. How we define an agency here at Ivans may be different than how carriers are defining agencies. And so if we could get to that NPN number and really get to the industry agreed upon definition of who comprises agencies, and this is beyond just agencies. We really want to be able to identify, carrier structures, et cetera. So this is us working to be able to get that information so that we can better represent information to you, our customers. So that's everything. Any questions? Similarly, always open for questions and feedback at any time. So feel free to reach out. Really appreciate the time. Oh, and then I'm sorry, I forgot. This is actually our Marketing Insights, our Find Agencies page. And you can see highlighted here, there's that data reports button that's only going to appear to subscribers of Marketing Insights Plus. But that's going to give you the ability to just very easily launch a report with or without filters and generate one of those data reports. And as you can see, we've been working over the last year to really improve our filters to be able to get you to the information that makes the most sense for you based on your appetite or your use cases, however it may be.
Thanks, Diane. And Ryan, we are going to jump over to you.
All right, thank you. All right, so I lead our Ask Kodiak and Ivan's distribution platform. We'll call it IDP as we move forward because we don't want a big mouthful there. But I am our product leader and we'll be walking you through all things appetite and quoting today. So, all right, so we won't be going through all this. We don't have enough time, but some of you like to take these slides. So I wanted to give you a little bit of idea of kind of what you're looking at if you haven't really been introduced to Ask Kodiak before. The biggest thing is it can be your single source of truth. So think about how many of you carriers have, different systems all over, different classifications for your different business units, and it makes it really hard to, kind of organize yourself. And one thing that Ask Kodiak does is it organizes you around NAICS, the 20,000 plus different ways that we can classify a business. And everything from that classification then flows down into your appetite, into your custom codes that you might have that identify, plumbers at a further level, or landscapers or florists or anything like that. All of those various codes can be uploaded into Ask Kodiak and then get you really organized. So if you really think of that as more of, like it says here, the main takeaway is transform your appetite from this kind of static reference to more of a strategic thing that you're able to control. Control those 20,000 NAICS descriptions. Control how those are mapped to your custom definitions. Control how large of a business or how small of a business you want to come through. Revenue, payroll, number of employees, square foot, all these great parameters. And it really makes sure that when these things hit your underwriters' desks, especially when there's humans involved, and we all have things to do, or a lot of us have more to do than we can actually get done from an underwriting standpoint. So making sure those risks are getting caught before they end up on a desk, someone has to review it, and you've wasted the agent's time and the underwriter's time because they've had to put this, data packet together, so to say. So it really puts the appetite in the point of sale, so to say. If you look down here, 40 plus integrations, it's all within our applied portfolio, as well as a bunch of external integrators as well. So think of it as a way to distribute to those integrators and consume as your source of truth. All right, why don't we jump ahead, Galen, for what we've been working on. So within the first quarter here, we want to reiterate about Ivan's Bookroll being live, just like how was mentioned about going into marketing insights. We're baking in this Ask Kodiak product more within the portfolio. So again, you have that central point of truth, and now you can start to disperse it out into the various areas within Ivan's, as well as the distribution. To go along with that tracking, to make sure that things, as they're updated and you need to make those changes, it's all done in a nice UI that's self-serve for you. And you can track those now. Before it was kind of, it was done, but you couldn't audit it as well. So now everything's going to get tracked, and there's an auditing report, and so you can really see who's changed your classifications when, especially if you get audited and you need to look at what were we declining or anything like that. A little bit more for our internal house, but just to let you know what we're working on here in Q2 is for all of our Canadian friends that use Epic, we are now modifying the translations. We're making Canadian NAICS and French translations for everyone that's in Epic. They use our market appetite Ask Kodiak products for that. So we're spending some time with them to make sure that it can support those NAICS classes. Because you think the North American Industrial Classification System, there's a little pick for you there for what that means. North America, but Canada is different than the US. So we have to kind of support both, even though you'd think it'd be the same. And then we have a bunch of back-end stuff that we're doing to further enhance what we're doing in the future column. We're really pulling Ask Kodiak into all things Ivans. We're going to add in some ability for you to see contract codes about maybe even the MPN, like was talked about before, some of the agency identification. So you can see maybe they have a DBA in our program and you know them as someone else, but let's get the contract code or other identifiers. So during this trust process, like I'll show you in just a second, you can see who those people are. Bidirectional API for those that maybe have your own system, your own source of truth, but you aren't in that distribution mode yet and you want to get it into more areas. We can work with you better in that way later this year. And then a bunch of things within agency-facing workflows, the migration to our Ivan's UI, where some of you that are in the exchange side, you've been able to get in some of those areas. We're going to be kind of, again, combining Ask Kodiak with more of what's all of Ivan's. So we're going to jump ahead to the trust thing quick there, Galen. This is what I really want to point out too, that we're going to add more functionality to this, so it's not only the name of the agency that is signed up for Ask Kodiak. So if you're not familiar with this, this is when an agency can sign up and you control who can see your appetite. And so if you're not getting the ROI on your appetite with us, please go to your trust. There's probably hundreds or maybe even thousands of them sitting there. If you have questions on that, just reach out to us. But those are the agencies that want to see your appetite. So go in. If you want to work with them, make that trust request, and then know later on this year we're going to be adding more information. So again, maybe it's a DBA, or you just don't know who that agency is, and it'll be easier for you to kind of connect the dots. All right, so we'll go quick here. All right, so IDP. This is another big one. I'm not going to go through all this, a lot on the slide here. The main takeaway I want us to look at here is down in the purple. For those that are familiar with what IDP is, though, it is our commercial risk kind of normalization engine, kind of think of it. It connects to Epic, Tarmica, EasyLinks here coming up, a bunch of our digital agencies, and it allows you carriers to get submissions through one pipe. Think about download, how you can work with Ivans and get it all the management systems, upload just the other way. What we've done most recently is now made, your connection to us really AI ready. The LLMs that you're always hearing about now can now understand the IDP definition. There's something called a JSON schema that is more of a standard type of definition that more out-of-the-box models are able to understand. So you would be able to really have a core on Rails, highly validated question set for what your quoting requirements are, but now be able to put it into more of those agentic workflows where you might have a bot kind of asking questions, and they can now understand your definitions. So if any of you are looking into any of those kinds of workflows, we can always talk about all our integrators and all the other stuff, but there's a lot of really cool things we're doing in that kind of AI space to help to streamline this, and just make it even easier. Instead of going from maybe weeks or months of an integration, we can get down to days, and it makes it a lot easier for our integrators to connect to you. Get that network effect and connect us once, and you can connect everyone else. All right, here's our full applied portfolio. Plus we have CoverHound, Milo, and InsureZone. And then we are working with Cytora, our recent acquisition. You'll hear a little bit more about that later, for more some email to quote type of functionality, which I'll talk about on the roadmap here. And then we are working with some other agency management systems. I just want to put them up here quite yet because we don't have contracts signed and all of that stuff, but we have several others that we're talking with. All right, why don't we jump ahead quick? All right, so we'll go through this. Commercial auto is what we're going to show a quick little screenshot of inside of Epic. That's our most recent line of business that we just added. We rolled it out in February. We have a VIN decoder that is available for you as well, for any of our integrators that may want to do this line of business, or a carrier. If you don't have a VIN decoder on your website today and you want to have that, we have APIs that can help you do that, year, make, model, and make that really clean to make sure it gives you gross vehicle weight, cost new, body type, all those kinds of things. What I was just talking about, the AI ready, machine readable, it's called a JSON schema. If any of you want to kind of nerd out with me on that, please reach out. I'm more than happy to show you all the fun JSON things we get to do. For our integrators, again, we're thinking about fast. How do you go from weeks and months to days? And we have this new concept called FastPath, which is going to automatically apply a lot of the really conditional, really complex questions you guys have. We make that a lot easier for our integrators now, where we can work with them on setting different types of prefills and defaults for different coverages, and think of a good, better, best type of a framework where they can set up different templates. And now we can make it really simple for the agent, because the agent fills out the basic data and they go good, better, best when they hit us, and they get 3 responses back. And the agent doesn't have to go through and actually do all of that work. There's a lot more coming here in the Q2, which we'll touch on in just a second. And then we have a couple more products that went live: Travelers, GL, and Next is kind of new branded. Their BOP went live, and then CoverHound we actually just got live here in Q1. So it's a very, very, very busy last few months. And then the other thing we're working on is EasyLinks. That is hopefully going to be rolling out here the end of Q2. And they are starting with BOP, general liability, and work comp. And then they'll do all the other lines that we have: cyber, auto, E&S, as we roll into later this year. And then the FastPath, like I was just talking about, we're going to be doing more there. Just think more ways of being dynamic ways of showing questions. And then the main one I want to focus on here is the Cytora to IDP this email to quote for any of you carriers that receive a lot of emails for straight through process stuff, whether it's a renewal or someone sending cord forms or whatever that is. We will have the ability now. We can actually demo it to you now if you want to see it. But we can extract the data from that email, from the documents that are attached, and send it through IDP and return a rate back through email. So the person doesn't even have to go into the rater. You don't have to enter any data, and it goes through all of your current rating, APIs that you have with us. And then we're looking at professional liability next. The little snippet there on some people want in the marine and commercial umbrella. Property always comes up, but most carriers don't have APIs around there. And then we're going to do a lot of work with dashboards the second half of the year and start showing you more and more data, what you're missing, what you aren't able to kind of get access to today. And then a quick little
Thanks, Brian.
screenshot if you want. Oh yeah, the poll. Let's go to
Yeah,
the
do you
poll.
want to do the poll first and then, or
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
great.
So good, thank you. So what we've been doing is I also lead our front end solutions on the agency side, EpiQuotes and Tarmica, and we've been doing some webinars just like this. And every time I ask them, do you want more lines of business or do you want more bind ability in app? Do you not want to go to the portal? And 7 out of 10 times, they are saying we want more lines of business. So we're curious from you are maybe skewed a little bit more towards the carrier side. Is that something that you are actually looking for, where you want to support more lines, want to get wider net, or are you wanting to keep people in the apps and not going to your portal? So we're curious how. Again, 7 out of 10 of the agencies want more lines of business.
Thanks everybody for your participation on this. This is the first time we've served up a poll in this webinar.
Looks like
So
we're agreeing. All right.
yeah. Give folks a
Good.
few more minutes to answer up.
All right. More overwhelming than the other side. So, hey, that's even better.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to close the poll out here in just a moment so we can stay on track. A couple more seconds and then we'll move over to your screenshot, Ryan.
Okay.
Okay, looks like we've got critical mass there. Thanks everybody for chiming in on that. Really appreciate it. And here we go.
All right, then one last thing, and then we'll jump on to the rest of the crew. This is a little blow up of what is in Epic today. So this is our Epic Quotes commercial lines. It's the embedded rater, and we're just trying to show here we have Acuity Donegal nationwide live today. We have Progressive and Liberty working on next. If you want to take this this slideshow, there are links to our Epic Quotes and Tarmica webinars there, where I go really deep into each one of those workflows and how commercial auto has been rolled out in each one. So if that's interesting for you and any of you, please watch those. And then this is just that VIN decoder. You know, we can make sure you don't have a 1980, Tesla Roadster or something. It'll make your make model will be good. It'll decode those VINs if you have them, and make sure you have really good clean data.
Thanks, Ryan. And Heather, we are on to you with Bookroll and Exchange.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. I'm Heather Pravish. I work on the product side on lots of products, including Bookroll and Exchange. Ivan's Bookroll is our product that runs off of download data and allows you to work with agencies to move a book of business. We will take that download data of that agency's book after they approve sharing policies with you, transform it into AL3, Accord XML, and deliver that to you in a Bookroll mailbox for you to pick up and consume. And if we move, excellent. We have been busy in the Bookroll world. As you know, we have 2 interfaces. One, the traditional that you find within Ivan's Exchange, and then we have a new Bookroll interface within our platform. And in that new interface, we have the ability for you to exclude states when you're entering your Bookroll request. You can now do bulk actions to archive or cancel your requests at that summary page. We've also given you the ability to export your policy data directly from the Bookroll interface without having to go to the Exchange mailbox to look at those files. We've made some enhancements with Policy Viewer, and then we're also really busy looking into how we can make it easier for you to work with and consume the data that we've delivered to your mailbox. We're exploring a coverage code dictionary and rating integrations. And in the following slides, I'll go into each of those recently delivered features. What we have looking forward to the rest of the year, we are going to continue building out Policy Viewer. We'll have workers' comp available soon, and then we'll continue working through the other lines of business. And then we're also looking at how to make it easier for you to request books of business from large agencies, especially those that have multiple Y accounts. So thank you, all of you who have been gracious with your time and your ideas on how we might do that. We should have some of those enhancements coming in Q2. And then beyond that, we're looking at how we might enhance Bookroll data with third-party information. We are looking at how we might integrate Bookroll with insights and with a distribution platform, just to give you a well-rounded book transfer experience from identifying the right agencies to getting that data and being able to quote on it. So let's dive into some of those features we rolled out with in Q1 here. In the new Bookroll UI, so if you're in Exchange, you'll see the little purple button that says try the new UI. Or you can access this through bookroll.ivans.com. When you enter a request, at the state selection, you'll see a toggle, and that will allow you to exclude states. So let's say you really want all policies, but you're not interested in anything from Texas, Louisiana, or Florida. You can list those states and then toggle that exclude button. Previously, you'd have to list all 47 other states if you didn't want Texas, Louisiana, and Florida, but now you can toggle that. We go to the next slide. Bulk actions was something that we heard from you that would be really helpful, especially for our customers that have done several book rolls over the years. You can, from your summary screen, select multiple completed requests and choose to archive them. If you had a number of requests that, for whatever reason, were not going to be completed, you can go through and cancel those requests. When you archive and cancel your requests, you'll get a faster load time of your Bookroll screen. With the export policies feature, when you're viewing one of your Bookroll requests, you see the summary, the distribution of those policies. If you have Ask Kodiak, we will show you the fit within your book. But you can also get directly to the policy information by clicking on the download zip button in the upper right corner. If you get your policies delivered in multiple formats, you simply select the format that you want, and a zip file containing all of the policies will download to your local computer. And then you heard me talk about the policy viewer updates. For home and auto, we now show you the coverages, and coming soon we'll have policy viewer available for workers' comp. As I said at the start, we love speaking with all of you on your ideas, taking a look at our prototypes. Please, anytime, click the link or scan that QR code and set up time to talk with us. All right, now we'll go through Ivan's Exchange. This is your front-end portal to manage connectivity and your download files. Download is API driven. So we start with your data from your system, transform that into the data format that the agency management systems need. And those agency management systems then pick up the data, automating the workflows that agents go through to keep their policy information up to date. Both agents, carriers, and agency management system can view the files being shared through the Ivans mailbox. We've had a lot of updates going on through Q1 and 2026. And if we take a look at what we've got on our roadmap here, we have been doing a lot of updating on our user management and security updates. If you go to the user management screen in Exchange, you will now see last login date available, making it easier for you to go through and clean up people who are no longer actively logging into Exchange. We also separated Ivan's Insights user management from Exchange user management. So now when you're looking at those Exchange user lists, you can be confident that they are Exchange users. If you need to manage your Ivan's Insights users, Marketing Insights, you'll want to log into Marketing Insights and navigate to the user management screens there. For our agencies, we have updated group management, making it that much easier for them to manage all of the Y accounts that they have access for their download. And then coming soon, we will be making some changes to the profile switching. So if you are a person who has a login for multiple accounts, you'll be able to toggle and switch between those easier, knowing which profile you're logged in under. As we roll into Q2 and the rest of the year, Q2 is going to be really foundational work as we update our dashboards and reports. We separate Bookroll more cleanly from Exchange, and we work on providing SSO to Ivans. Let's dive into the screens on what we've really delivered with Q1 here. As I mentioned, when you log in and go to your company profile on your users tab, you'll see last login. You should be able to sort. This makes it a lot easier for you to identify users that you may want to remove or make sure you keep access to Ivan's Exchange. For agencies, we've enhanced group management so they can have multiple group owners and easily just add those group managers as needed. They also have easier ability to control who has access to which Y accounts under their group. And then the Exchange profile drop down. You are looking at one of my profiles where I can log in as an agency or a carrier or even Ivans. A lot of times you may have test accounts and you aren't sure which one is your carrier account or your agency account. We make that much clearer now for you, letting you know the accounts that are available under each profile. All right. This isn't new to Q1, but just wanted to call out that you can provide instructions to your agencies on how to register for download. If you go to your company profile in Exchange, there is a tab called Download Instructions. Here you can type up the information that you want agencies to know about what information they need to provide, if they need to go to a website, complete a form, or give you a phone call. Once you click that button that says Show in Connections Grid and save these, as agents log into Exchange and go to their connections section, they will be able to see how to download, how to register for download with you. So if we go to the next screen, I've got a image of what the agencies will see. So on the agency side, when they say, I want download, we'll provide them with the instructions. They can also access these instructions anytime by clicking on the View Instructions through their connections grid. And again, please share your experiences with us, set up time to talk, or just send us an email. We love speaking with you.
Thanks so much, Heather. I'm going to take a moment here and share some really exciting news with you. As most of you have heard, Applied Systems acquired a company called Cytora recently, which really helps us build on our mission to bring speed and efficiency to the digital round trip of insurance. So, allow me to cap off our presentation here by giving you just a brief update to what Cytora does and a release that is actually coming from them on March 30th of this month. Um, so let me just give you, like I said, an overview of what Cytora does at a very introductory level, and hopefully you can dive a little bit deeper into this slide and definitely ask us questions if they come up. So what is Cytora? It is an AI native platform that addresses the unstructured data bottleneck in commercial line submissions, which is now part of Team Applied, as I mentioned. Cytora identifies themselves as a risk digitalization layer using large language models to automatically ingest broker emails, PDFs, and loss runs and transform them into decision-ready data, accelerating underwriting across the entire policy lifecycle. And as I mentioned, Cytora just announced a release coming up here on March 30th called Autopilot. And Autopilot is basically a new generation of their platform. It enhances how risks are processed autonomously. It's a game changer for commercial lines carriers. It reduces turnaround time and provides faster, more accurate underwriting decisions. And you can find more information, including a demo and a really great blog and an interview with their product marketing team on this website here. So scan the QR code, take a moment, dive in. It's really interesting stuff. So now I'm going to turn it over to questions. And we actually have a couple live questions that have come in. So I'm wondering if I think this first one, actually, Heather, thank you. You're answering it in the chat. So appreciate that. In the meantime, then, in the interest of time, Diane, I'm going to kick it over to you with a couple marketing insights questions if you're ready for that.
Absolutely.
All righty. First one is, can everyone use the data reports in Marketing Insights?
Good question. No. So the data reports are available to subscribers of Marketing Insights Plus, personal lines or commercial lines, but we are adding some additional security to that button, so it's not something that anybody can go ahead and just do. At the moment, it's going to only be available to admins, folks with an admin role, but then we are going to be adding a middle role between basically a user and an admin, and folks who have that role will also be able to use that data reports button. But it is not something that's going to be out there for everyone to do, because that 100 quota is going to go real quickly if we do that. So, yeah.
Thank you. And we'll be communicating those changes out to our users so they know what to expect. Second question back to you, Diane. If a user doesn't have Ask Kodiak, how would that integration work for them?
Oh, another good question. Yeah, so basically, we are not going to take away any functionality that currently exists in Marketing Insights. However, if you have the Ask Kodiak as well as Marketing Insights, that's an extra level of support that you'll be able to use. And just, we already know what your appetite is, so we can help you to, you do searches based on that appetite easily by taking advantage of the Ask Kodiak appetite that you have shared with us.
Great. So it's already there. Rohan, are you ready? I'm going to toss it over to you with a couple questions. All right. First one, how often within benchmarks does the data get updated or refreshed?
Yeah, that's a great question. The data gets refreshed at the first of every month. So it's something, on the first, all the new data for the most recent month that we can show you, it will all be refreshed on the dashboard. And also, in an effort to not provide an unfair competitive advantage, our data is actually delayed by 2 full months. So the most recent month right now, for example, would be January or December that you'd be looking at. So we're always looking 2 full months back, but on the first, that next month will automatically be available.
Got it. And speaking about the filters and benchmarks, Rohan, how granular can a user get with that data? Are they able to filter down to a single policy to see the details?
Yeah, it's a great question. One of the things when we built this product was to ensure insured and carrier anonymity. So as you're drilling in, looking at a very specific type of home policy, if it's a type of policy that only 1 or 2 carriers are writing, it can very easily identify who those carriers are. So we've implemented some floor restrictions with our filters where if you do a granular search, it must have whatever search you put in, it has to have at least 500 policies for the given month and five other carriers, not including yourself, contributing to those 500 policies. And thirdly, none of those carriers can have more than 35% of all of those policies for the month. So it's kind of a three-step approach to ensure that if you do too granular research, you'll get an error message that just says that, hey, the data is unavailable. We can't show you benchmarking analytics because the data set is just too small. But it's also in an effort to make sure we're not identifying any carriers on that product for customers.
Got it. Thanks for that, Rohan. Ryan, are you ready for a couple Ask Kodiak questions?
Sure, toss them over.
Awesome. So is this self-serve where a business can make changes themselves, or do I need to involve, or does that user have to involve technical resources?
Good question. So, no, you can use it as a business user. You do not need to get your dev resources involved. That is actually one of the really good ways you can use it. You can still engage with development if you want to connect to our APIs. And like many of our carriers, they use that in their portals, the business searches in their portal, maybe in their underwriting workbench, they're putting in appetites. But a business user can log in and make all the appropriate changes that they need.
That's great. And speaking about who can use this, is this Ask Kodiak we're talking about right now still, is this only for distribution to management systems and or raters?
It is not. It can be used. It's mostly used for that right now. There are dozens and dozens of integrations there. But a lot of them, again, a lot of them that are taking the most advantage of it are actually doing both, where they are distributing and they are consuming. And so you can have your appetite in one spot, and manage it in that one spot and not have to kind of keep things in sync over your maybe internal workflows and then what you want to expose externally. And then we give you controls. You can put a lot of data in Ask Kodiak that isn't exposed to the management systems or to the raters. So you have full control on that as well.
Great. Couple questions on IDP if you're ready for
Okay.
those.
Yeah.
And actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to flash up our coming soon the events that folks can come and see Ivan's at in person. So two things going on right now. Back to IDP, let's talk about this. Do we offer bindable ratings or only indications as part of that workflow?
We do, yes. With our rollout of commercial auto, our percentage of bindable, perfectly honest, to be perfectly honest, came down a little bit because the commercial auto products are all indications. So we're a little over 50% of our products. We have over 70 products on the platform right now, are bindable rates. So you can confirm that those are good. All but two in work comp are bindable, and by probably the middle, kind of the third of the way, Q3 probably, we'll have both of those be bindable as well. So we'll be 100% bindable with work comp here in the next several months. We have a couple different carriers we're working with on that right now.
That's great progress. Last one for you, Ryan, on IDP. So and this is coming from the user perspective, do I have to return a rate to participate, or could you bridge the user to my portal instead if I can't rate it but want to quote it?
Yeah, so we have this distinction really where you have like an API appetite or straight through processing appetite versus what's on your portal or what you will overall write. We can help you, so we don't have to show in the raters in where there people are trying to get a rate. Hey, you don't have to decline it. I don't have to say I can't process this. If you have the ability for us to take that user to the portal and not present a rate, we can help you. So we're not kind of showing the kind of false positive there where it's not rateable, but you still have an appetite for it and you want it to come up into the portal. Maybe a human underwriter has to look at it. It can't just be straight through process. So yeah, you bet we can help in both ways.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Heather, lots of questions for you today. Thank you for answering those in the chat. We've got a couple more if you're available for those.
Sure.
All right. And while you're doing that, I'm going to remind folks that Applied Net 2026 is already on the books, coming up in Washington, D.C. at the end of September. Here's some questions for you for Exchange. Well, actually, let's go to Bookroll first since we covered that one first for Heather. What's the easiest way to show how many policies came back and the total premium at a glance within Bookroll?
Yeah, So when you log into Bookroll, you have the landing page that shows you your request. Just click on one of the completed requests, and on the right side, you'll have a panel that tells you how many policies and what the premium was. And then if you want to dive in deeper, you can click View Policies.
Great. And if we want to exclude a few states in the request, we talked about this new feature where we can exclude one state at a time. What's the most efficient way to do that?
Yeah, so go ahead and just select the states that you want to exclude. So from that drop-down picker, select the states that you're looking for, and then make sure you toggle that exclude. If you leave it untoggled, what will happen is you'll only get the states that you had chose in that drop-down. So you want to make sure you hit the exclude toggle, and it will turn green to let you know that you're excluding.
Great. Back to Exchange for a moment. So, for any of our new Exchange users out there, can you recommend what are the top Exchange pages or actions that they should check first?
Yeah, you'll want to become very familiar with your mailbox, particularly your outbox. That is how you're going to be able to view the files that you've shared with agencies and see the history of those transactions. I also really recommend taking a look at your dashboard and becoming familiar with the transactions you're sending, and then the agency search so you can know that you've set up trading partnerships with those agencies and they'll be able to get download.
Great. And that brings us to your last question here. How do you let agencies, or how would a carrier let agencies know how to download with us?
And that's that download instructions section. Traditionally, you've shared with your implementation specialist, and we have an agency success team that reaches out. And now we have even more self-serve tools where you can share that information directly with agencies by adding it into the Exchange download instructions area under your company profile.
Great. Anybody else want to add anything or things come to mind that you want to share before we say goodbye today?
I just really appreciate everyone coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
really
you for your
appreciate
time.
everybody's time here on the webinar, and especially to our four speakers, Rohan, Diane, Ryan, and Heather. I really appreciate you guys and the work you put into this, and our users as well. We look forward to speaking with you again. We're going to get another webinar on the books in June to talk about the next phase of our Ivans products. Thanks, everybody, for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Adios.